Welcome to Network and Chill on the Couch. We're going to be hosting a series of talks with investors, entrepreneurs and startups who'll be giving us a little bit of advice, some tips and an insight into their personal journey. So joining us now on the Network and Chill couch, we have Rupesh, founder of Tuk Tuk Chai. So I want you to just give us a little bit of background on how your company got started.
How it was founded?
Yeah.
Right, so Tuk Tuk Chai goes back several years, the concept of everything. So basically my wife, Alex, I introduced Alex to chai first in 2005 when I first took her to Kerala. I'm originally from India, part called Kerala. So after we started dating, first time she came with me to visit India in 2005, introduced her to chai. She absolutely loved it, obsessed with it ever since. And every time we used to come back, like I used to go back home every 18 months or so. So every time we used to come back, I used to bring the tea leaves from home, brew it for her. So to make a proper chai, you have to brew tea leaves. So it's not easy. It's not like you put your tea bag and make it in 10 seconds. It's not that. It is a process, and you got to cook it on the hob. So it takes time. You got to have the right quality tea leaves. The whole project of having a cup of chai, it's not easy. So I used to make it as you do in the early days of dating. You do all that.
Anything to make a woman happy.
Absolutely. You do that. You do what you got to do. But then, over time you get lazy. You're like, oh, come on, I can't make it. That happens, and then you stop making it, which exactly, life take over. And I stopped making it years ago. So then every time she goes back home to my parents, she has like loads of it every single day. Coming back to the UK, she can never find a proper decent cup of chai. She could never find. So she used to buy from whether it's Starbucks or Costa Coffee, whatever. She used to buy that. It's not the real deal at all. I mean, she knows it as well. She knows it's not. But, she just used to buy it. That's it. And there was no chai. And one of our last trips, well, not last trips, one of our trips now to India back in 2014 Christmas. So we were there for Christmas. So Alex was leaving a week earlier than me back to London. So just after New Year, so 2015 New Year. And she told me, no more games. This time you're going to get those tea leaves. Every time I ask you to make chai, you tell me that you don't have the right tea leaves. So this time you get enough tea leaves, you're going to start making chai again. I said, oh, come on. Okay. So anyway, she left. And this thought was in my mind, obviously, that I had to get the tea leaves. So one night, I go to bed really late. So one night I was thinking, it's because I told my mom to buy the tea leaves for me. And I was thinking in the night, I'm going to buy tea leaves and make the tea. Is there no ready to drink chai? Really? I mean, come on. You can buy.
There's no one doing it.
Is there no one? Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you can buy everything these days. Compared to my childhood to now, you think, you get to buy everything. Everything is there. So how can there be no ready to drink chai? So that I save my hassle for me. I just looked up on the phone and I started looking, and it's not there. I was like, that's crazy. So I decided not to sleep, switched on my laptop, started searching the internet. And there's no ready to drink chai. I thought, this is absolutely crazy. There is no ready to drink tea, milk tea. Iced tea is a totally different concept, as you know. So there's no chai. There isn't. And I found out that there's only a couple of companies in the US. But that's it. I thought, that's crazy. It's being sold by Starbucks. Albeit it's not the real deal at all. Yeah. It's it's not tea leaves, it's just syrup. It's not the same thing. A lot of coffee shops or cafes and all sell it, but none are the real deal. I thought, you know what? This is it. It's like the eureka moment. I was like, that's it.
Jackpot.
That's it. You got to do it. This is what I got to do. I'm going to make ready to drink chai. That's it. People know about it. People are aware of it.
It's tasty.
It's tasty. Big chains are selling it, but selling not at all the authentic stuff, crap stuff. Yeah. But people are still buying it. So I'm going to go and make it. So I decided I'm going to do it, and that's how the idea came. And the idea came. Now my wife, Alex, I've always worked in the charity sector. Always, from the day one I met her, when she was a student, she's always wanted to be in charity sector. I was always into business. I was doing my own things. So she's my biggest critic. Always. She will find a way not to do business in the sense, if I come up with an idea, no, she's play safe. So when I came back to London on that trip, I decided I was going to do this. I started the groundwork ready. I didn't have a name yet. So when I knew for sure, I finished my research, I was going to do it. I told Alex, this was beginning of January, or first week or second week of January. I told her, that's it, I've got a new business idea. And regardless of what you're going to tell me, I'm going to do this time, for sure. She said, okay, what is it? So I said, I'm going to, told her the whole point, I'm going to do Ready Tuk Tuk Chai. And she says to me, that just might be the best idea that you've ever come up with. And I'm sitting there on the couch and I was like, that's crazy. She's my biggest critic. She finds any excuse or loophole for me not to do it. And she's like, this is the best idea. I said, this is it. This has to be it. And that was it. So I started the work again, starting to call design agencies, etc. And a few days later, Alex comes home and tells me, I think I've got a great idea for your business. Because at that time, she was not planning to be part of this. Great idea for business. I said, yeah, go on. Great. Tell me what it is. She said, Tuk Tuk Chai. I said, yes, because I've been looking for names those few days, trying to come up with a name. No, I didn't have a name at all. So I was thinking for names. So she comes and tells me after work, she comes in the evening and she said, what do you think of the name Tuk Tuk Chai? I said, that's brilliant. It's really catchy. It put a smile on my face, very catchy. Automatically transports me to India. I think about there. And I asked, why did you come up with this name? She said, because it's an on-the-go product. You're going to be selling it from the fridge, right? I said, yeah, on-the-go product. So in India, you take the tuk-tuks to go to every little place. So it conveys that idea. I said, this is perfect. She said, really, you like it? I said, absolutely. That's the name. That's what we're going to go with. And I registered the company the same day with that name. I registered it. And a few days after that, she came and told me, you know what, I think I would also like to be part of it. It's a great idea. It's a great business. I would like to be part of it. And the adventure began. So
at that stage, you weren't working together, but now you're both fully involved.
Oh, from that moment onwards, when she still told me, because all I ever wanted for her to tell me was something like that. I always wanted to do something together with her, always. So I was absolutely, happy when she said that. I said, absolutely. I've always wanted, for us to work together or do something. So that's great. So yeah, from that moment onwards, then obviously we started working together. But working together means it took a long time to launch it, because having the idea is great, but then
executing it is very different.
Exactly. Turning that idea into that product that you have in your hand, it took 2 years.
Is a journey, yes. It's a journey, so I know you were on Dragon's Den.
That's right.
So you did that experience together.
That's right.
And how was that for you?
Wonderful, excellent. It's one of the best experiences. It's basically validating what you're doing, your idea and your product in front of some great people. I mean, these entrepreneurs are iconic, isn't it? Especially all the dragons are, of course, all 5, but especially the dragons who have been there for such a long time, like Peter Jones and Deborah Meaden. Peter Jones has been there from series 1 and Deborah Meaden, I think, from series 3 or 4. So they've been there from the beginning. So these are iconic entrepreneurs, and the other entrepreneurs as well, of course. They've all done great things. So going out there in front of them and to get that validation that the product is awesome and they loved it and they loved the idea, and Deborah Meaden to tell on TV, I don't know how much of that was edited out, for her to say that you guys have got pretty much everything right, you haven't made any mistakes, that's great.
Yeah,
that's absolutely
really motivating.
Of course, because we know, as an entrepreneur, you always ask that question to yourself, right, every day. And then, someone like that to say that, you've done everything right, even though you might have done it right, you still question. But to get that attestation from someone as great as them, it's absolutely great.
It helped, yeah.
Oh, of course, it helps, and it's really, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's suddenly a seal of approval. That's it. It's done. That's a seal of approval. We know we were doing right. We knew it, but now not just we know it. Someone else who are already proven who they are have approved it. That's great.
Yeah. So I would like to know what advice you would give to people who are just starting out. What advice you would give them to get their idea off the ground? Because obviously, entrepreneurs. Because not William, we interviewed, who is founder of the Academy of Robotics. He went on Dragon's Den and they didn't like his idea, but he still had to keep going. So were there times where someone said they didn't like the idea and you
for my business? Or No, the thing is, look, I think probably my life experience is what probably helped. The way I see it, I probably see it in a spiritual way, in the sense, I was building towards this. This is what my life was building towards. Of course, we haven't sold it yet or exited the business yet, but it's almost like I can feel where it's going. It's every success or failures that I've had in my life, it was almost coming to
bring you
to this place where I am right now.
Yeah.
So that, who I am as an individual to begin with, and then to be an entrepreneur, because it's all the same sides of that one little ball or cube or whatever you call it, So it's all that coming together, yeah. So
where do you see Tuk Tuk Chai in 5 years? What's the vision for the company in 5 years?
In 5 years, where I would say in 5 years is being sold for sure, because there is only so much I can take it to a certain level. There are many reasons. Well, my close friends believe that I wouldn't exist just like that because they know me. But I'm coming to a stage of life also, plus the business, I have to think in a way what I can do for it when it comes to a certain level. Because in 5 years, I wanted it to be a multi-million turnover company with a potential valuation of anywhere between 60 to 75 million. That's where I want it to be. The valuation has to be between 60 to 75 million in 5 years, which I think is achievable. It's very hard work, not easy, but you've got to aim for that. And to get to that level is my main objective, and hopefully exit at that point, because from that point onwards, if it needs to be truly global, it really needs to be in the hand of someone to do the right justice to do it. I'm not saying I am shying away from the responsibility of doing it. It's not that. I also think about, this is my path, right? I wanted to create something, and I created it, the brand, and I want to build it, which I will do. But then, I'm also a family man. I need to think about my wife, my son, my parents. It's the whole thing of it.
So how do you balance your family life and being an entrepreneur and taking an incredible company off the ground?
That's the challenging part, but I think we handle it quite well, because especially if it's a husband and wife as well.
Working together, because many husband and wives work together.
Yeah, so when you're a husband and wife as well, with a startup like that, with a young son, it isn't easy. It is absolutely something not easy, in the sense because you got to find that time for our little boy, because at the end of the day, whatever we do for ourselves, which is what we're doing, it shouldn't affect him.
Yeah.
It only has to affect in a positive way. And we are very proud, actually, touch wood, proud to say that we are able to do it that way, because he is learning about becoming an entrepreneur. We are instilling that good things rather than not being there for him. So we are there always for whatever is needed. I drop him to school, Alex picks him up from school. We are in the house, I work from home. So we are kind of balancing it quite well so far, and I hope we can continue doing it that way, because it is instilling him in many great qualities into him. Like, one thing I've always taught him from day one is that never giving up, and that is like instilled into him now, that not give up. And he takes examples of what we do as for him to not give up. Whether it's, for example, he got a toy, it's like the Rubik's Cube, it's called a pyramids. He got it, he solved it within 5 days. I mean, that was amazing. He's a little boy. So I think we are balancing it well, because he's learning great from it, but still having the time together with us, whether it's playing tennis to anything. So yeah.
Nice. So what's a day in the life of Rupesh like?
Oh God.
You get up, you eat your breakfast.
I'm probably not good at breakfast. I probably don't have breakfast the time for that. Maybe lunch. Food is
so
probably
skip breakfast.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Or
Sometimes I have breakfast. Sometimes I don't. It all depends upon. I wake up, always drop my son to school. I do that morning school time. I drop, always been, and literally then it's non-stop. Anywhere between 12 to 14 hours a day. Anywhere between minimum. This year so far has been better, because at least weekends we get, well, there you go, Saturday saying that I'm here. So, this is what I call free time, in the sense Saturday, this is fine. But yeah, it's then whether it's because we work in Sainsbury, we've got to do the daily invoicing for them. To obviously thinking about, we are going through a major rebranding at the moment. So there is so many things. I mean, I don't know where to begin to tell you that, because this is a nuts and bolts business. there is so many things involved in a product, from the suppliers who supply the tea to the spices people who supply the spices, to then the shippers who involve the shipping from there to Germany, then the people who, there is so many things involved. Then I need to worry about the currency too. So there are a lot of things to worry about on a daily basis, absolutely. And then obviously increasing the listings to, yeah, so a day, I don't know how a day finishes because it just goes.
It's a day. You tackle the day on the day.
No, I plan ahead. Absolutely, I plan ahead.
So you plan ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm 100%. Of course, you got to plan ahead massively. For example, going into the new packaging, this has been absolutely planned right, because while the new packaging is going to be launched, we got to make sure we have the right amount of ingredients coming over to be booked into the factory at the right time to produce it, because the factory needs enough notice. So you got to really plan ahead. Of course, all that on a daily basis, as I said, it's dealing with from designers to the, it depends upon the project we are involved in. So the design project is now parked in. So the next project is now to get that onto the paper, like these Tetra papers, for example. Getting this printed, you would have thought this is an easy thing, right? You pick the design, let's go print it. But it isn't. It isn't, because we're having challenge, for example, on the green color right now. So we fixed everything, design is approved. So for the last few days now, this is the biggest headache, getting the color printed onto the paper right. It's such a little thing, but it costs so much money, because you got to produce 300,000 of these. And that's not cheap,
Yeah.
right? So it's all those little things add up. The little things add up every day. And in between that, you got to do the invoicing to Sainsbury's on a daily basis, because the orders are daily. And then you got to worry about, obviously, chasing up the rest of the suppliers to get the product in, and marketing to, it's relentless.
Everything, yeah.
It's relentless.
Yeah. So, what advice would you give for young aspiring entrepreneurs? So maybe not entrepreneurs, but for young aspiring entrepreneurs.
Be prepared for failure.
Yeah.
But don't be scared of it. Be prepared for it. Be prepared for it. Be prepared for everything. So you would have thought like you have planned everything in a certain way. You basically prepare for all of it to go wrong. Yeah, so you have probably nailed everything right. I'm going to do this. Why is that? I know exactly what I'm going to do. Now, you tear that paper out, because most likely they all will go wrong. But what you need to remember is, when it goes wrong, how quickly you can adapt to that change.
Yeah.
Now that's the key, because things will change, things will go wrong. But if you're not agile enough to change with that, then you will have a problem. So that's the thing. So yes, take the time to sulk away, take the time to curse everything that's going wrong in life, but then be very agile to adapt to that change and to go over the problem, so that then you can quickly implement new strategy to get you going.
Yeah. Okay. So to keep yourself on track, no matter what comes in the way.
There will be things always coming in the way. It will, 100%. Look, there will only be probably such a tiny minority in the world who will not have problems. I mean, I can guarantee you, you will most certainly have it. But the thing is, the eye on the ball. You got to have that eye on the ball, because that's there. But trust me, it's not easy. You can have as much as eye on the ball, but you could get clouded and misty, because when problems happen, the cloud and the mist are the problems. Mm-hmm. You see, you got the eye on the ball. But then when the cloud and the mist are there, which are the problems, it's still to navigate, it's still to know the eye on the ball and how to still navigate.
Yeah.
You switch on your lights for the fog and you still go on.
So our name and our concept is Network and Chill.
Absolutely.
How important do you think networking is? How important do you think the people around you are? How important do you think making new connections, getting out there and meeting new people is?
Of course, it's very, very important, because you don't know who you're going to next meet, right? For example, today I just met William, he just told me something about chai that I didn't even know about, that people drink chai in clubs. I never knew about it. I mean, it's crazy. Of course, I've been clubbing years back, so many times. I would have never thought of consuming anything other not promoting alcoholism, but I would have never thought of drinking anything other than alcohol. So to find out and to hear that people drink chai, I was blown away. So that's an example of networking. So we just exchange numbers. So, you never know who you're going to meet next. And they could be big, they could be small. Somebody small could become big. That's You can never underestimate who it could be. The man sitting over here running this might be running a TV show or TV channel in years down the line to come. So you never know. So that's why, absolutely, you got to be humble, you got to network and humility. Yeah, humility is very, very, very
Three
important.
keys there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I asked you a question about what advice you would give to young entrepreneurs and challenges they could possibly face. What challenge have you faced and how did you quickly adapt and overcome the situation?
Well, running a startup is challenging every day. There will be many, many challenges. But if I had to take an example of what I mentioned earlier on when we touched the subject about how quickly you need to adapt, where things will go wrong. Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying earlier on. Like, you can plan for every eventualities, be prepared for everything, and things could go wrong, and how quickly you adapt to that change. I can give you a great example for all the viewers and for all the young entrepreneurs for this. And I think one day this will be a story when this brand becomes something. I'm pretty certain because everybody I've told this to, they've all just been like blown away by it. So when Tuk Tuk Chai becomes something, this will become one of those stories. So as I mentioned before, it took us 2 years to basically get the product ready. So when we were launching initially, we were launching in glass bottles because I really wanted glass bottle because I wanted people to be able to see the product so that they can see the color, they know it's authentic. So I was obsessed about having glass bottle. So 2015 to 2017, 2 years of testing and trialing, and we got the perfect product, everything done, just about to launch. So we were launching at one of the biggest industry trade shows in March 2017 called IFE, International Food and Drink Trade Show. That's where we were launching. So everything is set. Launch date is the 19th of March. So production is made. So we are produced in glass bottles. 3 flavors that you see. They are produced in glass bottles, shipped across. On the 1st of March, they were shipped from Germany, coming to our warehouse. First week of March, it comes into the warehouse. So we are all excited. We are launching in such a short time, less than 3 weeks we are launching. Yeah, great. So all excited. But when the production was finished and the products were shipping over, the total quantity that was produced were much less than what I anticipated it to be. So I called the factory. I had a word with the project head who was managing our project, and I told, look, what's happening? How come so much wastage? So much wastage costing so much money. Then he said, because Rupesh, because of the process we use is very challenging, this, that, the other. It's the first time. So I said, okay, fine. So hopefully you're saying for the next production that we do, you should be able to, optimize it so that we reduce the wastage. So he says to me, next production, Rupesh, sorry, did you not know? I said, no, what is that?
Sorry, what?
We are shutting down the glass factory. I said, sorry, say what? Yeah, we are closing down the glass factory. You have no idea, that phone call. Suddenly you feel like the ground below you.
Swallowing you.
You are sinking because you have spent close to 150,000 pounds of your savings over 10 years into this business. You've done everything. You've got the product, everything ready. You're launching. You're putting it out everywhere. You're launching in 3 weeks' time, and you hear this. What took you 2 years to get to? That emotions I cannot explain to you. But that day, I thought the world is collapsing around me, and what to do? We got to quickly adapt to it. So 2-3 days, I didn't know what I was going to do. But then that 2-3 days gone. Okay, the next step, what to do? So the next step is obviously we have to go ahead. Like, we are launching, we are putting it out everywhere. So we go to launch. So we launched. We launched in the glass bottles at the IFE. So while we are at the launch, the first time the brand is out there, I'm talking to everybody with all the stress inside me about this, but I can't show it out to anybody, right? All the potential customers. Harvey Nichols met us. Harvey Nichols said they will list us straight away at the IFE after the meeting is. All great. So while all doing this and promoting the brand to get into listings where we launched, I also have to side by side. So not only launching and getting the sales done, I have to adapt to get the product now ready to move away from glass bottle to those packs you're seeing. So we have to redo the whole thing.
Yeah.
So whatever we learned in 2 years of producing this product,
went out the window.
We have to now adapt that because the process is different for that. We have to adapt that into the Tetra in a much shorter time. That was intense. So between March, so we met Sainsbury's at the event in March. So they liked it. So they said there's a potential opportunity for listing towards the end of the year, which means I need to prepare and get this ready between March and November, 6 months or 7 months or whatever. We have to get the product ready into that. And that was the immense challenge we faced. And we did it. But we did it. We did the test runs by summer, and by end of the year we were ready and then got it launched into Sainsbury. So that's the greatest example of how quickly how important is to adapt to that change quickly and still make it happen, because if we miss the boat and if we don't deliver, Sainsbury's not going to wait. So that's a great example of how quickly you have to adapt to get the result that you want.
And it's knowing not to dwell. It's knowing to literally find another plan.
To take a couple of days. That's
Yeah.
it. Take a day. But yeah, you have to move fast. You have to move, because as I said, when this news happens, you got to imagine, you're all individuals, right? You spend so much money. You've spent your life on it. All it's gone. You will literally be on your knees. I was on my knees, and it took me a couple of days to get back up. But then that's it. Once you get back up, then that's it. Immediately, how quickly, what you need to do? Okay, I need to do this, that. What do you need? What do you need? So then you move fast. So whatever you learned in 2 years, you basically use that skill to really push yourself now to crush it down into a shorter term, to implement what you learned, to really adapt quickly. Because now, time is not on your side, because you got potential customers. I mean, a listing with Sainsbury, you cannot miss that. You cannot mess that up. Because if you mess that up, that's it. You know, they will go to somebody else. So you got that great opportunity. Now you got to make your product work in that timeline. So that's immense. You need a lot of resilience and being relentless and never giving up. You just got to move fast and, as I said, not make mistakes as well at the same time. So yeah.
Nice. Well, I've enjoyed hanging out with you on the Network and Chill couch.
No worries. But thank you for calling us. Thank you very much for inviting us to share our story. Pleasure. It's a pleasure.